Sometimes, in the World Cup, you don't want to win. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? After all, the entire purpose of a football match is simple. Score more goals than your opponent and walk away with the victory. But World Cup history gave us one unbelievable exception, a match where winning wasn't the smartest option. A match where both teams realized that doing almost nothing was actually the safest strategy. And what happened that day was so controversial that FIFA changed the rules of the World Cup forever. To understand why, we have to go back to Spain. The year was 1982. The World Cup group stage was coming to an end, and one final match remained. West Germany versus Austria. On paper, it looked like just another group stage game. But behind the scenes, the mathematics told a completely different story. Before kickoff, both teams already knew exactly what they needed. If West Germany won by 1 or 2 goals, both West Germany and Austria would qualify for the next round. But if Germany won by too many goals, Austria could be eliminated. And if Austria somehow won, Germany's tournament could be over. In other words, neither team wanted chaos. Neither team wanted unnecessary risks. Both teams wanted the exact same result, a narrow German victory. It was one of the strangest situations in World Cup history. The game hadn't even started. Yet everyone already knew the perfect score. Then, only 10 minutes into the match, West Germany scored. 1-0. At first, nobody thought much of it. There were still 80 minutes left to play. Surely there would be more goals, more attacks, more pressure, more excitement. Except, none of that happened. Instead, something very unusual began to unfold. The players slowed the game down. They passed the ball around without urgency. They rarely challenged each other. Neither side seemed interested in attacking. Neither side looked desperate to score. Neither side wanted to change the result. It almost looked as if both teams had silently agreed that 1-0 was good enough. No one has ever proven that an actual agreement existed. But to everyone watching, it certainly looked that way. As the minutes passed, the atmosphere inside the stadium completely changed. The excitement disappeared. Confusion turned into frustration. Frustration turned into anger. The fans started booing. Whistles echoed around the stadium. Some supporters even waved money at the players, accusing them of selling the game. Others shouted for both teams to actually play football. People weren't simply disappointed. They felt cheated. Because this wasn't the World Cup they had come to watch. It wasn't competition anymore. It looked like two teams protecting a result instead of trying to win. Eventually, the referee blew the final whistle. The score never changed. West Germany qualified. Austria qualified. Algeria was eliminated. And that was the real tragedy. Earlier in the tournament, Algeria had shocked the football world by defeating West Germany 2-1. It was one of the biggest upsets in World Cup history. Yet despite that incredible achievement, Algeria was sent home because of what happened in the final group match. The backlash was immediate. Newspapers around the world called it one of the darkest days in football history. The match even earned its own nickname, the Disgrace of Gijón. FIFA couldn't simply ignore what had happened. The criticism was overwhelming. So they introduced a rule that still exists today. From the next World Cup onward, the final matches in every group would always kick off at exactly the same time. That way, no team could know another result before playing its own match, and no one could manipulate the standings in the same way again. It's a rule millions of football fans see every 4 years. Most people never stop to ask why it exists. The answer isn't television. The answer isn't scheduling. The answer is a single match played in 1982. A match that changed the World Cup forever. So the next time you watch the final round of the group stage and notice that every match begins simultaneously, remember this story. Because sometimes escaping the group of death isn't about scoring more goals. It's about knowing exactly when not to play.